Hi everyone, I'm Daphney and I'm a certified dating relationship coach. So today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite movies, and that's The Best Man.
Why'd you really leave your girl at home this weekend?
Because I wanted to hang out with the guys. You know, cut up with the boys before she came.
And really what I'm going to talk about mostly is Morris Chestnut. And I think that, we all can agree, most of us can agree, honey, straight, queer, whatever, that Morris is fine as hell, right?
I'm the first, the last, and the only.
And y'all know, according to the movie, that we love him here in the Big D. We love him in the Big D. So let's just get into it. Because as much as I love Morris Chestnut, honey, he said some really dumb shit in this movie, right? Talking about these outdated gender rules. Women can't make more money than men, or shouldn't, right? And if women don't need a man, then they're pretty much lesbian. I mean, just all kinds of shit, right? And then, that women just need to be at home, taking care of the house, having children. Woo! Man, I was like, can somebody just shut Morris up for a minute? I know it wasn't Morris, it was Lance, right? Can somebody please just shut him up? Because he was getting on my last nerve with these outdated gender rules. And I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. Y'all know I say this every time when I go back to these old movies. I'm like, what the hell, right? What is going on here? Why are we talking like this? But let me just say this, that I'm glad that I went back to watch this movie. And then even though he was talking about, this outdated, stuff, right? It brought up a conversation with all of the men, and it was a conversation that was somewhat progressive at that time. And so I'm grateful for that part, right? But I was like, ooh, girl, if I got to hear any more of this stuff, it's going to make me spring. And then what about all the cheating? That's another thing. Like, it was okay for him to cheat, right? It's okay for men to cheat or people to cheat on their, significant others, but it wasn't okay for the woman to cheat. I mean, the woman had to be angelic and pure and all the things, honey. But he could just be some, what we call community hoe, community penis, whatever that is, right?
You don't think that Mia's ever tippy-toed out the door on you once? No. Quentin, just play. Well, if she did, go out and get a little swerve on, don't you think she'd be well within her rights? It's karma, baby.
And it was okay, because all he had to do, honey, and here we go again, is repent, right? I'm going to bring out the Bible, say some scriptures, honey, and repent, and everything going to be all right. And I can still go on my hoish ways. And so all of this was like, okay, I could see very clearly that there was this line drawn between women. Now I'm talking about straight women, y'all. Straight women and straight men, and how, men perceived women, especially, in this case, Lance was very successful. He was a football player. He was doing the thing, right? He had this big fat contract that he had just signed, right? And, for whatever reason, and I think it had to do with how he grew up, right? Because his parents had been married all these years, still married. And maybe that's what he's seen in his household, right? The mom stayed home and took care of the children. The dad went out to work, and that's all good and well. But let me do this. Let me just make my point, right? Because I want to make a point. And I'm going to have to I wrote this down, right? Because I don't want to mess this up. Because this point was so I was like, okay, go ahead, girl. And this was a point that Robin made. Robin, who was played by Sanaa Lathan, right, in the movie. And she said, I may not be perfect, but I'm strong. And I said to myself, go ahead, girl. Because we are strong women. We are strong. We are successful. We are educated. And we can do what we want in our lives, right? If we want to be with women, that's our business. If we want to be whomever we want to be with, that's our business, right? If we want to, date late, have children, have no children, whatever that is, it's our business what we want to do. And so I love this point. And I said, you know what? This right here is where we should be today. Now, there's a whole bunch of single women out there. But let me tell y'all, You do you, boo. And when you're ready to find your person, like, hit me up. I can help you with that. I'm kidding, but I'm not, right? But I just want to say that we may not know everything, right? But we are strong. We are intelligent. We're doing the damn thing out there, right? We're entrepreneurs. We're business people. We're moms. We're doing everything. All the things, should I say? And I'm happy about that. So even though this movie kind of like set me back in the beginning with all these darn gender rules, it kind of brought to light that where we are as women, especially Black women, especially women of color today, where we are doing the damn thing and we're not needing someone's permission to tell us how to live our lives. And that doesn't mean we're not wanting relationships and we're not wanting to be happy in our relationships. It just means that we are strong, and it's okay to be strong. So let me just get into what I liked about this music. And I'll tell y'all from the jump, it was the music. When they started playing the music from the beginning, I was already like bopping and, doing whatever. And then when L Boogie walked into the club, I think it was a club or a restaurant. Anyway, when he walked in, I was like, okay, okay, because the music, from Beyonce to Kenny Lattimore, honey, the music, I was like, this is so good, right? So that's one of the things I really liked about the movie was the music. And we're going to like attach the soundtrack, honey, so y'all can go listen to the music. But I was like, this is so good. But let me just say something that since I watched this movie a long time ago, right? One of the lines that has always stuck with me forever, and I use it all the time, is whatever, man, right?
Will you marry me? I love you. Please.
Yeah. Whatever, man.
And I love that because it's like, whatever, I'm not going to like, jump over heels and do all these things. If you want me, like, be right and I'll be right with you. But whatever, man, right? So I want to say thank you. I'm Daphney, and this has been another episode of Coachable Moments at the Movies.